would you have preferred a PLE?
100%.
Because you get more time?
Yeah, absolutely. They
Okay.
cut me off for freaking 20 seconds with the microphone in my hand, for God's sake.
Goldberg sues WWE for $500 million. The announcement dropped on a Tuesday morning. No teaser, no leak, just a federal lawsuit filed, dense, brutal, detailed. The grounds? Breach of verbal agreement, moral injury, deliberate erasure of a promised retirement that was never honored. Inside, over 100 pages of internal emails, agent statements, anonymous testimony, and one clear allegation: WWE didn't let Goldberg leave. They made him disappear. And at the center of it all, one date kept surfacing like a point of no return. July 12th, 2025, Atlanta, Saturday night's main event, XLNBC. It was supposed to be a celebration. It turned into an erasure. Everything was set. The arena was packed, the city was his, and the opponent, Gunther, had been handpicked to carry the torch. 15 minutes of hard-hitting, clean, well-paced wrestling, ending in a submission. Goldberg lost clean. He stood up, grabbed a mic, and never got to finish his sentence. NBC cut the broadcast. Not by accident. By schedule, by timing, by design. What should have been a farewell became a blackout. No replay, no tribute, no WWE social media posts. In the show's official recap, the match was buried mid-card. No symbol, no signal, no respect. That night, WWE didn't thank Goldberg. They closed the door. And Goldberg chose to reopen it. Not with a spear, but with a lawsuit. In his filing, Goldberg isn't asking for a second chance. He's not asking to return. He's demanding acknowledgement. And for that, he points directly at WWE leadership, Vince McMahon, Paul Levesque, Nick Khan, accusing them of exploiting his name as a draw for years, only to reduce him to a background prop the moment he no longer aligned with financial projections. The lawsuit refers to conversations going back to 2022 in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, after his match against Roman Reigns, where he was allegedly promised a worthy send-off. One last match, a story, a moment. That moment never came. And when it did, it looked nothing like what had been discussed. According to internal emails submitted with the filing, WWE had reclassified Goldberg as a non-essential legacy asset as early as January 2024. Prestige inventory, non-priority, too expensive to justify premium exposure. Technical words, cold words, but revealing. It meant no WrestleMania, no build-up, no documentary, just one final match, shoved into a Saturday Night Network slot, stripped of narrative, angle, or meaning. What he believed would be a finale was just another segment. And it wasn't just the absence of respect that stung. It was how calculated it had been. According to sources cited in the case, everything had been choreographed in reverse. The show's placement, the lack of promotion, the live broadcast cut, the instructions to commentators to not overplay the emotion. The removal of Goldberg mentions in the weeks that followed. At no point was he told that this would be his last match. He figured it out like everyone else when the lights went out. Backstage, there was no word from Triple H, no message from Nick Khan, just a production assistant handing him a towel and a logistics manager whispering, "Thanks for coming." Then nothing. No calls, no thank you package, not even a tweet. That silence, Goldberg calls symbolic violence in the lawsuit. Because in the world of wrestling, where the end of a career is ritualized, amplified, sometimes mythologized, he got nothing. Not because he wasn't worthy, but because someone decided to move on. And to move on fast, you need to make sure no one's looking back. The match against Gunther, ironically, had been his own idea. Goldberg pitched it as a passing of the torch. He had turned down multiple high-paying AEW offers, declined convention appearances, trained seriously, even attended rehearsals with rare discipline. He still believed in what WWE stood for: loyalty, respect, legacy, the idea that even at the end, a legend deserved to exit with dignity. What he got instead was a commercial break. And what makes this heavier is that Goldberg isn't alone. Behind the curtain, other names are whispered. Mick Foley, Kurt Angle, Lita, legends who were also phased out quietly, without music, without spotlight. One appendix in the lawsuit references an unofficial directive passed to WWE production in early 2024. Stop investing in veteran farewells, shift narrative focus to 18 to 34 assets. The message was clear. The target audience didn't grow up with Goldberg, so his exit didn't need to matter. But for Goldberg, this isn't about ego. It's about principle. And if he's pushing forward with this fight, it's not to return to the ring. It's to make sure the ones who come after, Orton, Edge, Mysterio, don't get reduced to accounting lines. His circle says he doesn't want interviews. No talk shows, no memoir. Just one thing, recognition. That match wasn't filler. It was a finale, and it deserved to be treated as such. The lawsuit hit Stamford like a cold wind. When Goldberg filed, naming names, citing contracts, the leadership under TKO didn't panic. They froze. Because this wasn't just a bitter veteran. It was a humiliated icon demanding something basic, an ending that meant something. The internal response was immediate, a no-comment directive. Let the storm pass. But behind closed doors, the machine stirred. According to an anonymous insider, meetings turned tense. Some wondered, is this one man or the echo of how we treat all legends? Others, more clinical, shrugged it off. Goldberg had simply outlived his usefulness. But that's what this lawsuit is really about, a rewrite. The old contract of how legends were sent off, Mick, Kurt, Steve, with a farewell segment, a final stare down, maybe a video package, that system is being challenged. Goldberg didn't ask for a comedy run-in. He didn't ask for a squash match. He asked for a moment. That they failed to deliver one isn't just disappointing, it's disqualifying. The lawsuit includes internal leaks too loud to ignore. An email from the head of marketing, dated May 2024. We have no budget for legend retirements. Focus on Roman, Bianca, the new faces. Another shows that by July 2024, Goldberg had been labeled Legacy Tier 3 by the data teams, a glorified archive. It didn't mean he wasn't respected. It meant he wasn't usable. WWE didn't kill Goldberg. They de-indexed him. And in show business, erasure is crueler than death. The most damning leak is an audio recording of a meeting inside Stamford HQ. In it, Nick Khan pushes back. He still has a following. We can give him a send-off. Only to be met by a creative executive. He costs more than he draws. People want Gunther, not ghosts. Harsh, but honest. In their logic, Goldberg was a symbol of the past, not a vehicle for the present. And then came the order. The invisible directive, what the lawsuit calls tactical erasure. No tweets, no farewell angle, just lights out and cut to commercial. What he thought was a farewell speech became a silent dissolve. That night, Goldberg spoke to the fans, and the world didn't hear him. But this case isn't just about Goldberg. It's about how WWE handles those who built it. The ones who filled arenas before the TV rights, the ones who gave their bodies, names, and legacy to a company that now markets eternity, but forgets its foundation. In the days after, internal reactions weren't defensive. They were shaken. Active roster members, off record, admitted to being chilled by the documents. One veteran reportedly said, "If they can do this to Goldberg, they can wipe out any of us." And that's the fracture. This isn't a grudge match. It's a credibility test. It's not about money. It's about memory. Goldberg wants to prove that you can't just delete endings, erase farewells, silence exits. He wants to remind them that in wrestling, everything is story. And what WWE broke wasn't a contract. It was a promise. As documents continue to leak, as fans react, as legends whisper behind the scenes what they won't say on record, a picture emerges. WWE once saw itself as a builder of legends. Now, it's accused of curating their expiration. Goldberg doesn't want a return. He doesn't want praise. He wants the company to look at what it did and have the nerve to call that an ending. And all the while, silence continues. No statement from Triple H. No X posts. No lines in Raw or SmackDown. WWE chose to let the documents speak for them, to go quiet, hoping the storm would pass. But this storm, Goldberg created it. By filing that lawsuit, he's not asking to be enshrined. He's demanding the truth, that his send-off wasn't delivered, that it was stolen, and that even now, it still deserves to be seen. This lawsuit isn't about nostalgia. It's not about belts, titles, or wins. It's about a man who realized too late that his final match wasn't a celebration. It was a planned disappearance. It's about a system that recycles emotion and discards the man. A company that sells legends but treats them like liabilities once the lights dim. Goldberg isn't suing to matter again. He's suing to remind them that he did. And if he wins, this won't just be a legal victory. It'll be a warning. A warning to every company that thinks history can be deleted. A brutal reminder that in wrestling, like in memory, it's not the number of victories that counts. It's how you're allowed to leave.